going. Breaking tonight, one of the most powerful committees in the House now pushing for the Justice Department to begin a criminal case against a top IRS official. GOP lawmakers preparing to accuse Lois Lerner of misleading investigators and releasing private taxpayer information. This as another House committee gets ready to vote to hold Ms. Lerner in contempt of Congress for her failure to comply with various subpoenas. Now, in an exclusive interview, Republican Speaker John Boehner joins me live. Mr. Speaker, great to see you.
Megan, good to be with you.
So, Lois Lerner facing contempt charges this week, in addition to a push to have the DOJ start a criminal case against her for what?
Misleading the Congress. You know, when this story first broke, I asked the question, or someone asked me the question, well, who should be fired? I said, well, I don't care who's going to be fired. I want to know who's going to jail. And the fact is that the IRS, there are specific laws that protect taxpayers and force the IRS to comply with the law. Somebody at the IRS violated the law. Whether it's Lois Lerner or not, we'll find out. But the Ways and Means Committee and the Government Reform and Oversight Committee, both committees have jurisdiction over this IRS investigation. They've been both working together. And as I understand it, the Ways and Means Committee will go into executive session on Wednesday, where they will go over this letter that they have put together, outline names of taxpayers who've been harmed and aggrieved, and lay out a case for how Ms. Lerner misled the committee.
Is it just going to be Lois Lerner or others at the IRS?
I think we'll have to wait till Wednesday to see.
Really? Is your information it's not just Lois?
I think we'll have to wait and see on Wednesday.
Oh, you're leaving the door open. Interesting. So now if they vote to hold her in contempt over in that Oversight Committee this week, and that's supposed to happen, I think, Thursday, that she doesn't get held in contempt unless the full House supports that committee in its efforts. Is that going to happen?
I would expect after the Easter District work period, the Congress will take up that contempt resolution. Listen, I made clear Lois Lerner was either going to tell us the truth or we were going to hold her in contempt. And if she's not going to tell us the truth, we are going to hold her in contempt. The House will vote. The House will hold her in contempt.
Do you think it'll be more than Lois Lerner there? Because there have been threats that the acting chief, that the chief of the IRS now, John Koskinen, could also face contempt of Congress charges because he suggested the documents Congress wants from him won't be produced for years.
I think it's a little premature to go to that far, but we know that Ms. Lerner gave up her right to plead the Fifth. She refused to testify, and she testified and spoke with the prosecutors at the Justice Department. I don't know why she wouldn't talk to the Congress and to the American people.
No, she says it's a partisan witch hunt in the Congress, and she thinks the DOJ is straightforward. But listen, that's what her defenders have said. Let me ask you about this, because a couple years ago, you guys went after Eric Holder. He was held in contempt because he wasn't producing information, all of it, in connection with Fast and Furious, this gun-running thing. That's still held up in the courts.
It's still in the
courts. When you refer these things out to the courts, or you refer them out to the DOJ, what confidence can the American people have that there's going to be any end to it? There's going to be a resolution?
I'm a big believer in transparency and accountability. The American people have a right to know what happened with regard to Fast and Furious, what happened at the IRS, what happened at Benghazi. And there's no one more serious about getting to the bottom of this than I am.
Okay, but your detractors say, you mentioned Benghazi. If you are so serious about getting to the bottom of that, why not appoint a select committee where it's one sort of clearinghouse for information? Because you've got 190 members in the House who are in favor of a select committee, and yet you are overruling or ignoring the will of your own majority.
There are 4 committees that are investigating Benghazi. 4 Americans were killed. Their families have a right to know what happened. And there's nobody more determined to get to the truth than I am. These committees all have subpoena power. At this point in time, I see no reason to break up all the work that's been done and to take months and months and months to create some select committee.
But your own people want it. You've got 190 House Republicans who say they need it.
I understand it. At some point, that may be required. At this point, it's not.
Let me ask you about immigration, because the reason the president didn't get through immigration reform in part is what the House wasn't in favor of it. He couldn't get it through the House. Our own Shannon Bream was speaking with Jeb Bush, former governor of Florida and would be 2016 presidential contender, and he had this to say about the issue.
Someone who comes to our country because they couldn't come legally, yes, they broke the law, but it's not a felony. It's kind of it's an act of love. It's an act of commitment to your family. honestly think that that is a different kind of crime.
They did it for love. Your thoughts?
Listen, to most people around the world, the United States is utopia. And frankly, most people in the world want to come here. So I understand what Jeb was saying, but we're also a nation of laws. And for those who are here without documents, they're going to have to face the law at some point.
Mm-hmm. Do you think this is going to be a deal breaker for Jeb Bush for president?
I do not. I do not. The American people want us to deal with immigration reform. It's become a political football over the last 15 years. I've tried to get the House to move on this now for the last 15 or 16 months. But every time the president ignores the law, like the 38 times he has on Obamacare, our members look up and go, wait a minute. You can't have immigration reform without strong border security and internal enforcement. And how can we trust the president to actually obey the law and enforce the law that we would write?
He's under more pressure now to do more by executive order on the subject of illegal immigration, to defer more deportations, to use his pen and his phone, as he says, to get around a Congress that he thinks is standing in the way of reform. If he does that, if he pursues that, what, if anything, do you do?
That will make it almost impossible to ever do immigration reform because he will spoil the well to the point where no one will trust him by giving him a new law that he will implement it the way the Congress intended.
You got into a weird online argument with Matt Drudge of the Drudge Report this weekend, where he suggested that the House Republicans had expanded Obamacare with it's called a voice vote last week. And a voice vote is controversial because it doesn't really require everybody to go on record, I gather. You came out and said, we didn't expand Obamacare. Here's the bottom line. I trust Chris Stirewalt of Fox News. What he says is conservatives are mad over this House-passed fix because it mitigates some of Obamacare's damage to small businesses. And in essence, what you've done is allowed Democrats to, and I quote, crow that they have finally broken the GOP blockade. Did you give on something you shouldn't have given on?
Our goal all the way through this is to protect the American people from the awful effects of this law and to continue to work to try to force the president's hand more often. We're not going to win as many of those fights as we'd like, but we're going to win some of them.
You think the GOP is going to take the Senate?
I do. I think we have a real good opportunity. I think we have an opportunity to pick up seats in the House. My concern about the House especially is that the Democrats have continued to outraise us month after month after month. And even though we're setting a record for fundraising, we're being outraised by the Democrats. So the only way they have a chance of getting the House back is to buy it. We can't let that happen.
Some are suggesting that you are not going to be the Speaker, even if the GOP retains control in 2014.
I've heard those rumors before.
What say you?
Listen, my members know me, and they know me pretty well. We don't agree. We don't disagree on all the big issues, nor, frankly, on big strategy. We've had disagreements over tactical issues, but I've got a good relationship with my members and feel confident that I'll earn their support come the end of the year.
Last question. There's been such a rift within the Republican Party, as you know, is not that uncommon as parties go. But the Tea Party, the more conservative Republicans versus the sort of mainstream Republicans. Do you sense that narrowing at all, that gap?
Well, I think there's a greater understanding. As I said earlier, there's no issue. There's no differences here in terms of Obamacare, the economy, jobs. We're all on the same page. Where we get into these disagreements is over some tactical moves that we make, where some Washington groups will stir up the Tea Party, frankly, I think unfairly and unnecessarily, and cause divisions just for the sake of raising money for their own organizations.
Do you watch House of Cards?
Never seen it, but every place I go, everybody asks me about it. I'm going to have to watch it.
You can't, because then people like me are going to make you comment on whether it's true to life in any way, and you get yourself in trouble.
I can answer that part. No, it's not. People don't get killed, all right?
Let's hope for Kevin McCarthy's sake you're right.
Knees don't get broken. It just doesn't work that way.
Maybe just figuratively. Mr. Speaker, great to see you.
Nice to see you.
Thanks for being here.